Hi guys, Joey here. ASUS has recently revealed their new Zenfone 4 lineup. Today we look at an all-rounder smartphone with a massive 5000 mAh battery, the Zenfone 4 Max. Is it a worthy successor to its past versions? Let's find out. Compared to its predecessors, the current Max is no longer bulky, but is now sleeker and looks more premium. It's actually closer to the Zenfone 3 Zoom's design, but thicker. Up front, you have the 5.5-inch display, the same size as the original Zenfone Max and Zenfone 3 Max. Above the display are the earpiece, 8-megapixel front-facing camera, and dedicated LED flash. Below it, non-LED capacitive touch buttons for back and recent apps, with the capacitive home button in the middle which also acts as a fingerprint scanner. Left side, SIM tray, which accommodates 2 nano SIM cards and a micro SD card. Bravo, ASUS. And on the right side, we have the power/lock and volume buttons. Up top are the 3.5mm audio jack and secondary microphone, while down below are the loudspeaker, main microphone, and micro USB port for power and data. The Zenfone 4 Max feels reasonably hefty at 181 grams, and despite its large battery, it's actually thinner than the original Zenfone Max at 8.9mm and 0.6mm thicker than the Zenfone 3 Max, which notably had a smaller battery. The metal unibody is cool to the touch and is easy to grip and use in one hand thanks to its curved sides. The 2.5D glass also makes the phone feel seamless when you run your fingers around it. Unfortunately, the Zenfone 4 Max's 5.5-inch display only has a resolution of 720p, equal to 267 pixels per inch. It's not that bad, but it feels like a major downgrade if you're used to at least a 1080p display. With this lower resolution, the display is sufficient enough for simple activities like watching content, playing games, and social media. Viewing angles are okay and the screen gets bright enough to be used outdoors, but the color is way too cool and unsaturated. We tried looking for the ASUS Splendid app to remedy this, but the phone doesn't support it. In the audio department, the downfiring speakers are audible and crisp and good enough for hands-free voice calls and casual media use. It really lacks bass, and you definitely want to use headphones or speakers for a better listening experience. The Zenfone 4 Max runs Android 7.1.1 Nougat with Zen UI, which visually remains the same as older versions. The best improvement here is the lack of pre-installed bloatware. The usual Google apps are present, as well as some basic social media apps which we don't mind. Out of the 32 gigs of storage, 22.59 gig is left for you to use, which isn't bad. You can expand this if you want using a micro SD card or USB OTG. A huge improvement this phone has over its predecessors is its camera. Or should I say, cameras. It sports dual 13-megapixel rear cameras powered by Pixelmaster 4.0. The main sensor has a focal length of 26mm for a viewing angle of 80 degrees, while the secondary one has a 12mm focal length with a wide 120-degree viewing angle. They do have the same resolution as each other, but the main camera definitely produces better images and is faster. It does, however, have a reddish tint to it, and it doesn't perform particularly well in indoors or low light. The 8-megapixel front camera that has its own dedicated LED flash also leaves a lot to be desired, as it's very susceptible to noise and blur. The Beauty Live app from Zenfone Live is also present. As for video recording, the 4 Max can shoot at 1080p 30 frames per second with quality similar to the photos. Notably, you cannot switch between the dual rear cameras during recording. Powering the Zenfone 4 Max is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 438 core processor clocked at 1.4 GHz, an Adreno 505 GPU, and 3 GB of RAM. Ordinary tasks are smooth and responsive, and gaming was not an issue. The phone's upper region did get a little warm at times, but that wasn't really a big concern. If the specs are familiar to some of you, it's because it's the same configuration found in the Zenfone 3 Max. Because of this, the scores we got from our synthetic benchmarks were pretty close. Basic connectivity on this phone is covered with LTE, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.2, micro USB with OTG, and GPS. No issues with connectivity were experienced, as call quality is good and the phone picks up mobile data and GPS signal easily. The main feature of this smartphone is its 5000 mAh battery. It's non-removable but does support reverse charging. During our testing, it was able to last us 2 days on moderate to heavy use. Taking it through our video loop test, it lasted 16 hours and 30 minutes. Since the phone doesn't support any sort of fast charging, it was a slow crawl of almost 3 hours to get from empty to full. The Zenfone 4 Max is somewhat a mix of old and new. It has older internals and a dated display, but it has newer things like a new attractive design, dual rear cameras, and a large 5000 mAh battery. We like its premium design, large battery, dual rear cameras, triple card tray, and low price. On the other hand, the 720p display, the older processor, and the inability to switch between lenses while video recording were things we did not like. For 9,995 pesos, you're getting a smartphone with features usually found in more expensive devices, can take heavy use, and doesn't break the bank. And that wraps it up for this video, guys. Hit the thumbs up if you liked it and consider subscribing for more content. This has been Joey, and I'll see you in the next one.